I want to tell you a story about a time I went to Brazil a long time ago before Raw Travel. And I think it was in the town of Recife in the north of Brazil. And I was walking around and getting to know the town, and I saw these young kids. One kid was much bigger than the other, just beating the heck out of this younger kid who was crying, trying to fight back. And I saw these adults just walking by, pretending they didn't see what was right out there in the open. Instinct kicked in, even though I'd only been in town for a few hours. I said, "Hey, what are you doing?" In English, obviously, because I don't speak Portuguese. Maybe I tried something in Spanish. I can't remember. But I broke the fight up because this kid was just bullying and beating up this younger kid. And I couldn't stand by and watch it happen. Now, children are going to fight. Bigger kids are going to beat up younger kids. But the adults who just walked by and did nothing, that impression stayed with me and still stays with me every time I think about Recife, Brazil. And I went on to have a really good trip in Recife, Brazil. I'm not saying this is representative of that town or Brazilian culture. I'm just saying I saw something very violent, and my instinct was to stop it. Their instinct was to pretend they didn't see what they saw. Now, I'm coming from an American point of view, and I didn't grow up in the slums of Brazil. This wasn't a slum, by the way, but these could have been slum kids. So I have to take that into account. But the reason I'm bringing it up right now is because yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, when the German chancellor was in the White House, or it could have been the day before, he was talking about the difference between Russia and Ukraine, and how that, first of all, Russia is invading Ukraine, a sovereign country. Second of all, that Russia targets civilians and civilian infrastructure and has killed so far over 12,000 civilians, almost 1,000 of them children. Whereas Ukraine, when they strike back and defend themselves in Russia, they hit airplanes, drone factories, military targets. As the German chancellor was saying this, our president, the United States president, just sat there like a lump on a log, kind of nodding, not really agreeing, just sitting there. It reminded me of the time I hung out with the guy long before he was president in the late 90s in the Hamptons in a club. And we were in the inner sanctum of this VIP club. And he had some young girl with him. He's just chilling, doing nothing, unimpressive. An empty suit is what I thought at the time. Had I known he was going to be president, I don't know what I would have done if I could go back in time travel. I don't know what I would do, but I would do something. Then later on, this same president, our same president, went on to say that maybe sometimes you just got to let people fight. Like a hockey fight. Or like these two kids in Recife, Brazil, where one kid is clearly the aggressor and has clearly got the advantage and is beating up a smaller kid. Trump says we should just let them fight. As if Ukraine has a choice in this matter, as if both sides are at fault. It's called equivocation. Russia invaded Ukraine. Russia, on a daily basis, terrorizes civilians. You know how I know this? Because I've been to Ukraine 6 times, 3 times since the full invasion, and I'll be going back again in about a month. And there will be drones, and there will be bombs. And I will feel the terror that Ukrainians feel on a daily basis, something that Donald Trump doesn't know anything about, because bone spurs don't go. Bone spurs don't know because bone spurs don't go. He knows nothing about combat. So he thinks we should just let people fight. That if he had been in Recife, Brazil, he would have been one of those people who just walked by. Except he's not just one of those people in Recife, Brazil. He's the president of the United States. And this is unacceptable. This false equivocation, I'm sick of it. Whenever Russia targets and destroys Ukrainian civilians and kills Ukrainian civilians, which they do on a daily basis, you hear nothing but silence from the White House. When Ukraine strikes back and has a major offensive like they did the other day, and they destroyed 40 of Russia's airplanes, the same airplanes that drop bombs on Ukrainian citizens and kills children, then you hear, oh, Ukraine is escalating the war. No, Russia started the war, and Russia is escalating the war, and Russia can end the war. If Ukraine stops fighting, there is no Ukraine. If Russia stops fighting, there is no more war. That's how you get to peace, Trump.